Aquarius, hi, how are you? Thanks for being here. This is kind of a mid-July check-in for you guys, but the reading's good for whenever you find it, to be honest. If there's something in the title that's caught your eye, then I'm sure there will be a message in the reading for you. It's a general reading, okay? I'm not pulling on any particular area of life. What comes up in the energies is what comes up. Generally, yeah, that's my cat Betty, who's just knocked loads of my cards everywhere. Thank you. Generally, I say kind of take what I'm saying about the energies and sort of apply them to your life as you see fit, because I tend to keep it quite general, but sometimes specific themes do come through. If you are looking for particular guidance on relationships or prosperity, well, career, it's called prosperity in this book, I am going to pull an oracle card at the end, which tends to have a couple of messages about specifically related to that when you go to the book, which is what I do, and yeah, it's worth hanging around for that, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Looks like we've got company. I'm going to start with oracle cards, okay? Just remember, this is it's a collective reading. I'm pulling on collective Aquarius energy, which is always interesting. So just bear in mind that not every single message necessarily is going to be for you. Purification. So yeah, just use your intuition. I mean, you should really, you'll know if it's your story and your message or not, generally. You're right, okay. What's Pure Pine Spirit, Purification card 30, and Butterfly Spirit, Transformation card number 8. I feel like you're in quite an independent energy at the moment, Aquarius. Whether you're single or not, I mean, I'm not saying you're not in a relationship, you could be, but even within that relationship it feels like quite independent energy. It feels like it feels like there's a transformative energy available to you, but it's a bit blocked at the moment, and there's stuff that needs to be cleared out the way, and that's why this purification card has come up. So it might literally be a decluttering, physical decluttering of your space, or it could just be a more spiritual cleansing. But there's that type of energy. So if you're feeling like you need to waft some sage about and you've been putting it off or something, I'm getting a little bit of a sense of procrastination. Yeah, take this as your reminder to do whatever cleansing and clearing rituals you tend to go to. Some of you need to clean out your car, which is very specific, but there you have it. And I do feel that will make way for a kind of transformative energy. Makes sense to get all this around the time of the full moon, because that's really what the full moon is about for me. We had the full moon in Capricorn on the 13th. So it's now the... Geez, I don't even know what the date is. We're in that kind of post-full moon period, so we're still in that energy. It could be the 15th. I don't know. Knight of Cups, and it came out in reverse. What's my everyday witches deck today? I don't normally use this deck very often, but it was calling me for you guys. Yeah, so I'm seeing this reversal as a kind of block on this Knight of Cups energy. I don't know, I feel like there's a block on you receiving love. I feel like someone's sort of making you that offer, or wants to make you that offer, or is about to make you that offer, but there's some sort of block, and I sort of feel like the block's on your end, and that's sort of why you need to clear some stuff out, however that speaks to you, or, you know, whether that's spiritually or physically, I don't exactly know. I do feel like some of you actually are still hanging on to objects from like a previous relationship, like keepsakes, or like, I don't know, I'm not really here to tell people what to do. It's not my style at all, but it's more about posing questions, and I feel like that is the question that's being posed of you, like, what purpose is it serving me to still have these objects in my life? But for some of you it's not physical objects, it's more emotional, but you know, if you do like remove those objects, I do feel like that's a message to the universe that you're sort of ready to receive love. But maybe you don't feel like you are at the moment, and that's fine. But know that it's available to you when you are ready. Let's see what else we can get for you, Aquarius. Aquarius. Oh, there's too many cards. Aquarius. What else for Aquarius, please? Ooh, yeah, that's more like it. So that's the type of energy I need to see in a card. Yeah, and that. Okay, so this one came up first. Let's go here. The Chariot in reverse. That sense of stuckness. Because the way isn't clear. That's why you're stuck. Four of Cups in reverse. Right. I'm happy to see that in reverse for you. And then the Six of Swords in reverse. Ah, okay. Yeah, I do feel like there's a sense of having difficulty moving on from something here. But I'll show you both these cards upright, but they did come out in reverse. It's almost like one of these arrows is pointing to the past and one is pointing to the future. You see, you've got these two choices, this way, this way. Just say this way, this way, this way, that way. This way, that way. So often the Chariot is about being pulled in two directions. It came out in reverse, so that is a sense of stuckness, like I say. But, you know, alongside that, I feel like one of these arrows points to the past, one points to the future, and it's a bit like, with it coming out in reverse, I think maybe quite a lot of your energy is being directed to past at the moment, especially with the Six of Swords coming out in reverse like that as well. I think you're being reminded actually that you can harness the energy of a full moon to release what needs to be released. So I think you're being asked, like, what do I need to release in order to move forward, in order to sort of get rid of this stuck feeling. It's a sense that it doesn't exactly feel unpleasant for you. Almost like you're enjoying reminiscing it, like you're enjoying the fantasy of it, Aquarius, I don't know. So I don't know what this might be for you. Obviously for many of you it will be a past relationship, but it doesn't have to speak of that. Could be quite a transition in your life at the moment. I'm sure I've had this for Aquarius before, like the energy of a child starting secondary school or a child starting primary school or something like that. Or you see, it could be that sort of energy as well, which is quite a change, isn't it? So some sort of change there, and you're looking back on the past with nostalgia. But I am sensing a kind of sense of there is some excitement for the future though, I feel. Whereas before you were stuck in apathy in some way, which is what the Four of Cups represents when it's upright. But it came out in reverse, so I'm sort of seeing this as moving out of that energy of apathy and nonchalance. I want to say nonchalance, which is a word I never use, so I don't know if that's a word that you use. Yeah, so I feel like these cups here kind of represent the past, and then this is the future, and sort of with when the card's in its upright energy, this isn't sort of getting any time of day really or any notice, but the way it come out in reverse, it's like I do see you sort of looking at the future and daring to feel a little bit excited about it. So I feel like that's like what's going to move you forward. That was odd. I think some of you might have been physically ill recently, actually. Just getting that sense. The feeling physically unwell. There's kind of a sad sense of not feeling cared for within that. I don't know what that's all about, Aquarius. I'm really sorry if that's you that I'm talking to. Just a sense of being alone in the midst of a physical illness, because you, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but just a sense of other people not being there to care for you in the midst of a illness. I don't know how far back this goes. For some of you, this could be a feeling that goes back to childhood. I don't know. Oh, sorry, Aquarius. I guess I'm not speaking to all of you, but why? Why has that come up in this reading? It feels linked to this Knight of Cups in reverse. Let's pull some more cards on this Knight of Cups in reverse for you. Oh, cat. Tell me more about this Knight of Cups in reverse for Aquarius, please. Some of you are dealing with a Capricorn. Seven of Cups, the World, Nine of Swords, Knight of Wands. Well, whatever this energy of this uncaring energy that you've experienced, I see you cutting it off, or having had cut it off in the past. So it might have taken you a long time to get there with Temperance. But it's like this other person just saw you as an option, but you ended it. This is you ending it, stepping away from that energy. So I just feel like past energy for a lot of you. But it caused you a lot of anguish, because which is shown by the Nine of Swords. Yeah, I think you felt really stuck within it at one point. But it's like they showed you their true colours. I don't know if it is a physical illness for all of you, but there was some situation whereby you really wanted them to show their care towards you, and it's like they just didn't step up to the plate in the way you hoped. It's like they weren't there for you. Whether that's like physically, emotionally, both. Because it was all just a bit of fun for them, but they didn't want. Oh, it feels really cold. It feels really cold, Aquarius. That's not nice. This could go way back for some of you. I don't know why is it cropping up in your reading. I think that fear of being uncared for must be cropping up currently in your life for some reason, and that's partly that's what you need to release. That's what you're being asked to release with the full moon in this Six of Swords, and you're struggling to release it because it came out in reverse, and with this purification card coming up, and it's the full moon, and yeah, this is the energy of release, because transformation's available to you if you can release this fear. if you can release this fear. Yeah. So there's some healing. There's some healing to be done around that. That's why it's coming up in your reading. So no matter how far back this past event goes, and it could be childhood for a lot of you, it's coming to the surface to be released. But I don't mean like be blind. I don't mean to that you should be blind to the possibility of it happening again. But there's just some healing to be done around it. But that doesn't mean ignoring, you know, possible red flags. I hope that makes sense. It's very easy, isn't it, you know, just to say, oh, this needs healing. Easier said than done, hey? Do we have any advice then on how? That's always the question, isn't it? And I think that might be beyond my capabilities. But I'll see. I'll see if anything comes up. How to release this fear then. I almost feel I'm not framing it quite right. The Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Ten of Pentacles speaks of stability, like really solid ground. It's interesting because in this card this person isn't stood on the ground. They're stood right on the pivot of a seesaw. No, because it's the Two of Pentacles. I was going to say that imagery doesn't make any sense for the Ten of Pentacles. Excuse me. Okay, now it's making much more sense now. Me making a mistake, so whenever that happens I always think the message for the viewer is to not be afraid of making mistakes, because we are human. We're not here to do everything perfectly and correctly. Yeah, so it's a balance. It's a balance between releasing this fear so that it's not getting in the way of forming relationships, but also letting your past experience of, you know, bad treatment inform not making the same mistakes again, not allowing someone to treat you badly again. It's a fine balance. It's a fine balance. Just reinforces what I've already said there, really, doesn't it? It came out in reverse. So I guess you're struggling a bit with that balance. Who doesn't? That's very human. Time. It's about time, I think. So it feels a bit like you're trying to predict the future. What a funny thing to say in a tarot reading. It feels a bit like, yeah, you're trying to know the outcome, and the outcome is unknowable, okay? In many ways. So what it is, it's about knowing, trusting yourself that when stuff comes up that you need to respond to, trust in yourself that you'll make the right decisions when it comes up, when necessary. It almost feels like there aren't any decisions that need to be made at the moment, but somehow you're worried about letting yourself down in future with regards to any decisions that might come up. But any decisions that might come up tied to this idea of someone not being there for you, and how do you respond to that? And like picking up on the warning signs, or yeah, there's a bit of a sense of hypervigilance here. But I think it's about allowing things to take their course, knowing where your line is, and knowing that when things hit that line, if they hit that line, you have it in you to honour yourself and honour your boundaries, Aquarius. I hope that makes sense. Flexible is your oracle card to finish off with, number 19. Let's see what it's got to say. I'm going to read it all out for you. It came out sideways, so some of you do need the protection message, but I'm going to read out all the messages. Okay. She's doing a kind of handstand on an egg. The egg just reminds me of so much potential. So you probably are feeling like there's quite a lot of potential, you know, with this thing that you're trying to predict the outcome of. But, you know, even if it doesn't meet your expectations, you'll react accordingly. Very strange card. I'll let you see the imagery of that again. I can't really quite work out what's going on with her head. Okay, so essential meanings: teachability, open-mindedness, being adaptable without compromising what's most important. Yeah, makes sense. The oracle's message: a tree's roots are solidly planted in the ground, yet its branches can bend in a hurricane. Whereas a rigid structure like a building would come crashing down, consider how the tree remains supple and secure when everything around it may be in shambles. This is how you need to be now, willing to learn new things, teachable, malleable, yet firmly grounded in who you are. Common sense is important, but so is an open mind. Stay curious, stay open, stay aware. At this time, others will be more flexible with you too. Okay, relationship message. In every relationship, it's important to be open to new experience and learning new things. Letting go of rigidity is what's required right now. I think this sort of rigidity has been a survival response for you in the past, yeah. It all makes sense to me, so I hope I'm getting it across okay. You don't always have to be right all the time, do you? It's okay to come to a happy compromise. You can still get your needs met. It's a beautiful day when you meet halfway. The appearance of this card in a reading could also signal that you have met someone new who may not be your type, but who will turn out to be so special that you can easily release your old ideas about what sort of partner is right for you. So that's another thing that could be coming up for release, yeah. Be flexible. You'll be happy you made that choice. And the prosperity message: even when you have a clear vision of how you're going to manifest something, what it will look like, who will share in it, and what will then be available to you, you still need to relax and open up to the possibilities. Spirit may have much better plans for you. It could be a job you hadn't thought of, a new source of money, or some other opportunity that eluded your imagination. Be flexible and remind yourself, this or something better manifests for me now. Then be willing to bend a little. Enjoy the miraculous results. And the protection message as well, which some of you I feel need to hear. When you or someone else becomes too rigid, you lose the access to growth and untapped potential and find yourself in an us versus them scenario. Loosen up, open your mind and heart, and see if a more flexible approach feels better. Rigidity will set you up for a fight where there are only losers and no winners. Could you find a way to bring about a result that is mutually beneficial? Meet in the middle. Spirit makes a great mediator. Okay. I will say with the meet in the middle thing, sometimes there are people who are want you to meet in the middle. Only they keep moving like where the middle is. They, you know, if they're like, yeah, go on, meet me in the middle. And then they're like, oh no. And then all of a sudden the middle's over here. And then all of a sudden the middle's over here. So, you know, I tend to issue a lot of caveats when I read from books, I'm sorry. Anyway, you know, your intuition, your discernment is where it's at, Aquarius, anyway. So, you know, probably you don't need my caveats because I'm sure you're very capable of taking what I say and not blindly applying it to your life. But sometimes I just feel for my own conscience I need to say stuff like that. All right, my loves. I do hope there was something in that reading for you. I hope it made sense for you. I hope it helps. I hope you feel heard in the world. I hope you know the universe is on your side. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. It does help the reading get out in front of other people, helps the bloody YouTube algorithms that I don't understand. And if you've not subscribed already, feel free to do so. It will help me pick up on your energy for next time, my loves. All right, have a lovely rest of July and I'll catch you later.